second session of Olentangy's One Community Diversity and Inclusion Conference. I'm Heather Cole, the District Diversity Coordinator, and I want to thank everyone for coming. The theme of tonight and in February, the conference events this year was Building Bridges of Understanding. And that's really what our work is all about in the program, through the conference events, throughout the year. Building a better understanding of ourselves and also of the people around us. The goals and objectives of the conference every year are to bring about an increased, to increase the sensitivity, awareness, and understanding of communities of people that might experience prejudicial attitudes and behaviors, that might experience isolation, marginalization, discrimination because of group membership. So my hope tonight and through events such as this past February event is to really collectively build our understanding, to deepen our conversations, get to a point where we're okay having more courageous conversations with one another, asking more questions. Through building understanding comes the point where you're ready to ask more questions. And really just sort of, in doing that, build a stronger community. So with this focus in mind, I want to take a brief second to talk about the diversity in the room. Know that there aren't too many people here now, but we have about 130 people that are set to be here from a lot of different perspectives, a lot of different walks. We have students here and alumni here. We have staff members, administrators, parents, community members within Olentangy. Then we also have administrators and staff members from surrounding school districts that I want to recognize and welcome as well. School districts such as Westerville, Hilliard, Jackson Local, Lakota, and Green Local schools. Thank you for coming and joining the conversation. We also have, I also want to welcome students from surrounding universities such as Wright State, Otterbein, and Dayton. So thank you for coming. So like I said in February as well, if you were here, take advantage of your time tonight. Strike up conversations with people you don't know, enjoy yourself, and hopefully you walk away with tools and strategies to take with you in your context. At this time, I'd like to welcome to the stage our current board president of Olentangy Local Schools, Mr. Dave King, who will provide some brief opening remarks. Dave King was elected to the board in November of 2009. He received a degree in architecture from Ohio University and is a founding partner of Horn and King Architects. Before his time on the board, Mr. King served on the district's development committee for 11 years, acting as the group's chairman from 2000 through 2009. During this time with the committee, that group of community experts assisted with the planning and construction of 14 school buildings, 2 bus compounds, and renovations to Olentangy High School. Mr. King also served as a volunteer with the Olentangy Liberty High School Music Boosters. He and the board have been huge supporters of our diversity work from the very beginning. We're so thankful and grateful. So at this time, please join me in welcoming Board President Mr. Dave King.
I need a quick comment, and thank you, Heather. It's my pleasure to be here to represent Mr. Rafe, who could not join us. He was unable to make it this evening, and of course my fellow board members. Olentangy Schools has become a very unique, we all know that. You can look around and see that pretty quickly. A very unique and exciting place to live, to learn, to work, and to raise your families. Just as the nation is growing in diversity, so is Olentangy Local Schools. District, brief history, the district decades ago in 1911 was a very rural community. That's one reason why we're 95 square miles. It's just a lot of rural areas and a lot of farming. Several one-room school buildings. Fortunately, they were wise enough at some point in time to begin a consolidation. Hence, we have this very large district, geographically as well as population. Fast forwarding today, you can look around and see the kind of commercial growth we've had. A number of really high-tech, very important businesses are located here, their headquarters, regional opportunities. It's a very growing and thriving community. And of course, how many times has somebody said to you, they know somebody or they moved here because of Olentangy Schools? very important comment that I've heard over and over again. Over 19,000 students, 23 school buildings in our district. Soon, in August of 1918, we'll have 24 school buildings with the opening of high school number 4. And let me just insert a little notice here, a little plug. If you're interested in our board meeting next Thursday evening, the 14th, 6:30, we will be discussing an update on the progress of that project for the 4th high school. So come to the meeting or listen in on the audio and visual presentation. Diversity in business, diversity in people, diversity in thought, that's what makes a community rich and dynamic, what gives it fabric. Our community's diversity can be a valuable resource and strength, just like we see in our schools and in the overall community. But of course, we have to acknowledge and explore these differences that we have and enjoy and should enjoy in a safe, positive, nurturing environment. Environments where everyone, students, families, families without children in the school district anymore, can come together as a community. You know, I've said to people, especially during the last year or so, when you think about Olentangy School District, 3 city municipalities, I think it's like 9 townships. That's a very diverse political community as well as population. And what do we all have in common? Olentangy schools. It's one item that brings us all together. For adults, it's events like this, in addition to the school activities that your children participate in, that we can learn and grow together and take advantage of the topics that are being prepared for you this evening. So I hope you'll take advantage of these sessions this evening and obviously share them with your friends and your neighbors. On behalf of the board, of course, and as Heather mentioned, I'm very proud to say that we are very supportive of the district's goals in thoroughly training, educating our staff, partnering with the broad community, making recommendations to the superintendent, and recruiting and hiring the staff, administrators, teachers, employees of color, and building student programs that uplift and inform our youth. Again, a very broad community. Let's bring that diversity together. At this time, if I may, I'd like to introduce our speaker, our keynote speaker for the evening, and the facilitator for the students. For more than a decade, our speaker has traveled the world, entertaining, educating, equipping youth and adults with information, inspiration to reach excellence in their attitudes, their character, and of course, their well-being. He's the founder and CEO of the acronym REACH, R-E-A-C-H, Communications, and has spoken to and worked with schools, organizations, companies, and communities across the U.S. and around the world for that matter. He is an author, speaker, and trainer. So please join me in welcoming Mr. Javier Sanchez.
Good evening, Olentangy. I'm so excited to be here, and just so I feel better about myself, can I get you all to change seats? Okay, stop right there. I can tell Olentangy has a whole lot of attitude. What just happened? I asked you to change seats. Everybody sat there and looked at me like I was an idiot, right? Why did you not? Somebody said, why, right? Why did you choose not to change your seats? Somebody tell me. Let's shout this out. Let's get this thing going. Why did nobody move? You were comfortable right where you were at. Why else did you decide not to move? You're close. You feel like you're right where you need to be. Okay, cool. Who said that? You didn't know where to go. Is that right? Somebody said that. Why else? You got plenty of leg room back there. Okay.
I haven't seen her in months.
You like who you're surrounded. How many of you like the person you're sitting next to? Everybody's hand better go up. This becomes a whole different experience. If not. How many of you, when I said change seats, you looked at like your bags and your coat and your whatever and said, I got too much stuff. I can't. Right? Huh? You thought about all the stuff, right? All the stuff. You thought about. How many of you just don't respect me enough? Right? That's hurtful. Right? Listen, all I asked you to do was change seats. The pushback or the resistance I got from you was I'm comfortable right where I'm at. Look, I like the people I'm surrounded with. I don't understand your instruction. Maybe I want to change seats, but I don't know where you're telling me to go. I'm fine right where I'm at. I really am okay with where I'm at. All I asked you to do is change seats, and that's the resistance I got from it. What this is about is changing lives. What this experience is about is changing attitudes. It's changing perceptions. It's changing some of our behaviors. It's changing some of our actions or some of our reactions when it comes to interacting with people different from us. And when we're challenged to change in those ways, what is the resistance or the pushback? I'm comfortable where I'm at. I believe I'm in the right place. I like the people I'm surrounded with. Look at all this stuff I have. I've got too much baggage. I've got too much history here to change. The same pushback I got from just asking you to change these is the same pushback and resistance people have to changing their attitudes and perceptions and beliefs about embracing and celebrating and building bridges and connections when it comes to diversity. And so I hope, like Heather said earlier, is that we are open to this opportunity, that you are open, and just you being here tonight tells me that you are open and that you're ready for change for the better. I'm so excited that I don't get to talk very much tonight. For this part, I'm doing a workshop later, come hang out with me. But you're going to hear from 7 amazing young people that are the change. I tell people all the time, change is not happening to young people, it's happening through young people. This is the we have had enough generation. This is the generation that's had enough of all the stuff that previous generations, including my own, have done wrong, and they're ready to do some things right. Like we said, I get to travel around the country and even around the world. I just got back from Malaysia and Singapore, and I see and work and interact with so many young people that are ready to do things differently and ready to do things better than they've ever been done before. So I'm excited as we celebrate these young people. Let's give them a round of applause. But before you do that, as you're clapping and cheering them on for the brave step they took to come on this stage and share their hearts, I do want you to move forward. So all y'all in the back, let's move forward and get to these first front rows. Make them real comfortable. Feel good about themselves. Thank you for closing the gap between you and them. All right, we're going to get started. I'm going to have each of these young people go down the line and introduce yourself. Tell us your name, what grade you're in, what school you go to, and something that you're passionate about. Okay? Can you all handle that? Hit it.
I'm Kona Ghazi. I'm from Olentangy Orange High School. I'm a sophomore this year, and I'm here because I'm Muslim and I'm Pakistani.
Hi, I'm Shayla Thompson. I'm a junior. I'm from Olentangy Liberty. I'm here because I'm mixed race and I'm passionate about journalism.
Hi, I'm Lorelena Todd. I'm from Olentangy Orange. I'm a senior, and I'm passionate about dance, and I'm here because I'm an Indian who's adopted by white parents, and I'm a Christian.
Hi, I'm Emily Gruther. I'm in 11th grade, a junior. I go to Olentangy High School, and I am here because I am bisexual and diagnosed bipolar.
Hola, me llamo Cristian Giovanni Vélez, and I'm here because I love the world. I'm in 10th grade and I go to Olentangy High School.
I'm Michael Carter, 10th grade, Olentangy High School. I'm African American, and I'm passionate about, like my man Christian said, the world and changing for the better.
Awesome. Let's give them one more round of applause. When when we have forums and experiences like this, a lot of times our tendency is to focus on what's going right or what's going wrong. But tonight we kind of want to change that and focus on what's going right. When you focus on the negative, what you're doing is magnifying it. When you magnify something, you're making it appear bigger than what it really is. What we're going to do tonight is amplify the positive. Take what's strong and figure out ways to make it stronger. So, young people, I want to hear some stories about what is going right in the Olentangy School District when it comes to celebrating and embracing diversity. What are some personal experiences or some things that you've witnessed that are going right?
Well, the Olentangy district is very diverse, and they have ways to show that it is diverse. I know recently we had a multicultural fair, so everyone could express where they're from and facts about that, and just be like who they are for a day. So I think that really helped show our diversity.
I think that we've come very far from where we were previously with any generation, and I think that as a society we tend to focus on negative and those that impair us rather than the things that are changing. But I think if we look, there's so many more differences that are positive now. There are like GSAs in school, and there are way more accepting people. I think we're learning more about others as well, and we're starting to realize as a society that just because someone is different doesn't inherently mean that they're bad.
Also going along with what she said, the Olentangy districts have many clubs now that we didn't have before, especially when I was in middle school, such as like Black Empowerment Club, Asian Club, Anime Club, Cultural Dance Club. So we have all these clubs that show diversity, and these are student-led clubs, student clubs that students decide to make because they now feel like they have a voice and they have an opinion and they can make them, and they're not hiding, and they're accepting, and they're more accepting, and they understand that just because you're joining Asian Club doesn't mean you have to be an Asian. Just because you're joining Black Empowerment Club doesn't mean you have to be an African American or a Black person.
I just think we're doing a really good job with starting to see when other people are hurting, whether it be because of different injustices that have happened or not, and being able to come alongside them and support them. Like, I have a fantastic support system here at Olentangy that I never thought that I would have, be it between teachers and students. We're doing a really good job coming alongside those in need.
Olentangy High School had a Black History Month assembly a couple months ago. This was the first time this was done in Olentangy. This is obviously a huge step in, progressing. And as we progress, I've seen better things happen. I've never been, made fun of because of who I am, and I've never, had anybody look down at me because of who I am. Not to say that this doesn't happen, but personally. And just to think a couple decades ago that this would happen to people all over the country, and it would happen so often that they had to have movements and people were restricted. So, as time goes on, we definitely progress, especially here in Olentangy. So.
I want to start off by saying the fact that we're having a diversity club, we're having a diversity conference, really means that we're trying to strive for something for change and better. Like the Black History Month Assembly, it was there to reach out to the Black people as myself, but also the others to know our culture and to know, for people to be able to say their culture, freely and not feel, like they don't matter because of their culture or whatever. And I see after that, and even before that, I see a lot more people in the hallways, talking to people other than who they normally hang out with, who's their normal, whatever. I see more people opening up their hearts and opening up their minds to their cultures. So, like I said, the fact that we're having a diversity meeting like this means something.
All right. Now we've come a long way clearly in Olentangy, and we have a long way to go as well.
that, you know, we see that we still need to work on and you're excited about continuing to work on and build upon here in Olentangy?
Well, I know personal experience of mine. Actually, this was like in middle school. I was bullied because of being Muslim, and immediately my mom went to a guidance counselor, and they were able to talk to the person and help. And I have never been bullied ever again. So I know there's some parts of our community that isn't always the greatest, but there was guidance counselors and people from Olentangy and staff were able to suppress just kind of move past that and go better and better people.
I think something that's very important and pertinent is educating children from a young age and teaching them about other cultures, because I know that especially in elementary school, children were very blunt with how they felt, and a lot of the times they didn't really understand different cultures, and they didn't really understand different people, and they would be very blunt in expressing that. I remember at one time someone asked me, because I was half Indian, did I get beat up by my parents if I didn't get all A's? And that wasn't, they weren't trying to hurt me, but they just weren't aware of what was happening. So I think just telling kids what other people are will really help them understand.
So just like a personal story of mine is because I was adopted and I do have white parents and I am a Christian. I used to get bullied all the time for this, and the thing with me is I would always like try to push past it and not tell anyone, which is a really bad idea first of all. But then I would hate my parents so much for the fact that I was the one being bullied, and I would sit there and I'd be like, why did you adopt me? Why am I being bullied for something I can't control? And that's like a horrible feeling to go through life, feeling like your own parents are the cause for all this when it's not even your parents. And it's not really the people's fault who bullied me even, because they are unaware. And I feel like we're in a state where we're so unaware sometimes of what we say, we become in denial that things like this are happening around us. And this is a societal norm now that we don't see these things sometimes. And it's just, when you see somebody make fun of somebody else, you think they're just making fun of somebody else, and it's just like all laugh and fun, but we tend to just let it slide by us. So I think if we're more aware, and our students and kids are more aware, and you take action early, and you keep pursuing that you need to be aware of what you say, and actions and words do hurt, then more people will become aware and it won't become a denial issue.
I want to start off my answer by saying I am freezing. Okay. It's so cold. Okay, so here's the deal. I live in Ohio, right? It's snowing, well, it was a couple days ago, and it's April, right? Why am I cold? Why? I've lived in Ohio my entire life. Because from 7th through the middle of last year, I wore long sleeves. It didn't matter if it was 90 degrees, it didn't matter if it was negative 20 degrees. I was wearing long sleeves. Personal experience for me, when I went outside on my birthday to see now ex-boyfriend, I was wearing short sleeves at the time because it was my birthday. It was June 17th, quite hot. He goes, you're making me uncomfortable. Can you wear long sleeves? And I didn't think there was anything wrong with that. For those of you who don't know me, I used to self-harm, and so it's been a big deal in my life. Needless to say, from ages of 12 to 15, I was in long sleeves all the time, and I don't know how to articulate this properly, but the fact that I'm still riding the bus and I'm still hearing, oh, well, that's so gay, or oh my God, I'm gonna go cut myself because I got a C, or oh, I'm gonna kill myself. That's a problem. Like she was saying, words, they're an issue. And I think as people who live in today's society, it's really easy to just brush it off like, oh, well, it's fine. Like, it's whatever. It's just a name. It can't do anything. But I believe strongly that I would have been able to wear short sleeves sooner if all of those things hadn't been coming out of people's mouth at least once every day.
Hard to follow up. I am mixed race as well. I am, I'm Puerto Rican and my mother's white. So she's always speaking Spanish because she knows how to speak it. And, that is something I love. I love that she knows how. And I've always been I've always been around people that are different than I. My mom, she married a black man, and I myself am Puerto Rican. So my father hasn't always been in the picture, but I've always been around, people like myself. And I've always been around my stepfamily, who I appreciate the culture so much. I'm always learning, I'm always looking, I'm always listening, I'm always appreciating everything that I am given, because not everybody can see what I see so intimately and so right there. And when you are taken away, or when you're not given the opportunities to see everything, that's where ignorance comes from. It comes from not knowing. And so when you've seen things that I've seen, I know Puerto Rican food, I know how to cook it, I know how to speak Spanish here and there, and I know how to, make food, soul food, you know what I'm talking about? I know how to do these things, and, I know respect, I know love, I know everything from 3 different cultures. My grandma, she comes from deep Kentucky, and she speaks with a little twang, I know how to appreciate that. I love all of those things so much because they're all part of me. I'm not, I'm so open to learning, and my point for that is that everybody else should kind of be open and appreciative, especially if you're not that too. Just, you miss out on good human experiences if you are closed-minded and your eyes are always shut. Thanks.
Yeah, like my man Christian here, my family is very diverse. I have a white uncle. I have a mixed Cuban and Puerto Rican uncle. That's very funny, by the way. He's taught me a lot, like how to cook sofritos and different things like that. And I've learned things from different cultures myself. And my family, my mom, my grandmother, right there. First row, say hello to them. Love you. They've taught me to be open to more cultures and, think before I say, because you don't never know when you're going to hurt somebody. And I'm not going to sit up here and blame those that grew up in a society or a household that weren't open to different cultures, because that's all they know. Like, open to different cultures is all I know. And so, I'm not going to sit up here and blame them, but it is very important that we strive to open ourselves to different cultures, different races and foods and languages and dances and music, I've listened to country music before, and so, I'm not going to blame those up. I'm not up here to blame those, but it's very important that we start now, not later, not 2 weeks from now, but now that we start changing that part.
So Christian really, both you guys, really spoke on how you were made to feel significant in your experience in terms of embracing and celebrating cultural diversity. What about everyone else? And do you have more stories to share about a time that you have been made to feel significant here in the Olentangy School District?
We surround ourselves by friends most of the time. So I think just being around people who know parts about you and respect your culture, that really helps me. Because I know like my friends, they may not believe the same things I do or do the same things I do, but they still respect me and they still say, borrowing clients' time or stuff like that, and they know how to let me live my culture even though I'm with them. So I think, yeah, just being myself when I'm not surrounded by the same people and being okay with that, I think, yeah, that just makes me feel pretty good.
Well, my mom is Indian and my dad is mixed, and he's actually adopted, and he's like white and Mexican and Native American and some other stuff. And I have two younger sisters, and the one right below me is also adopted, and she's adopted from India. So I've been raised very diversely, and I have an uncle who's married to a Chinese woman, and they're Buddhist, and I have Hindu family, and I have Christian family. And I think like it's kind of hard to know where you stand sometimes, but when I talk to my friends, when I tell them about my culture, and they come and they accept that, or they try my food even if they don't know what it is, I feel like that's always a big thing. Or when my French teacher adopted a baby like a month ago, and I talked to her about how I've had experiences with that, and it was really cool to be able to share that, and the class was really interested. And I think just knowing that people want to learn and want to grow and understand, even if they haven't had those experiences directly, makes me feel a lot more significant and more understood than I was previously.
So for me, I have a brother also who's my age, and he looks like me, but we're not blood related. He's also adopted, and I like to shock people. I really do, because they'll ask me, they'll be like, so he's your twin? I'll be like, no. How old is he? 18 like me? Oh, really? He's 16 days older than me, so shock there. And then they'll be like, so, Holi's coming up. Are you ready for that? No. That's why. I'm a Christian. Oh, you are? Oh, yeah, I'm Christian too. So I really like to shock people, and that gives me satisfaction, because being different, I used to hate it. In middle school, I was on a downward spiral. I was depressed, I was suicidal, I was just going down the drain, and my teachers could see that. And so they put me in a diversity club, and that was the first time that I noticed that there were people like me and not like me, but exactly like me, because we don't have to be the same, but we are the same. And so like, from there, I went up and I came to the high school, and we didn't really have a diversity club. We had like a Rachel's Challenge, which was an anti-bullying club, and so we formed a new club, and it was face-to-face friendship, acceptance, compassion, and equality. So we have that club, and so being in these clubs really validated me, because I feel like if you have a voice and you know what other people are going through, why not go ahead and say how it is, because there's no point in hiding it. And so when my teachers actually understood that that's how I felt, that's how it was going on, it actually helped me become stronger, and that got me out of my suicidal depression stuff. There was no medicine needed. It was just me getting my voice out, and that validated me so much. And then I was chosen to go to like an Ohio State leadership conference where there was 1,500 kids that I talked to. It helped shape me more than I could ever be shaped, because I felt like a true adult. I felt like somebody who had a voice that could just be used. And that's what I think we're all here for.
So I came to the Olentangy district as a freshman. I really didn't know anyone. I have one friend. And I love English a lot. And so I was in English class one day. I don't even remember what was going on, but I had started having this massive panic attack. Now, I sat in the front row. So like, not only was I having a panic attack, but the person behind me was having a panic attack, because they were watching me having a panic attack. And like, the teacher was in the middle of talking, and it was just really not a good time. So I ended up going to the nurse's office because I could not deal with what was going on. And it turns out, about 5 minutes later, my teacher comes running into the nurse's office, and she just, "Are you okay? Like, are we sure? Like, you're doing all right?" And like, it just, wow. I went to a private school before I came here, and their big thing was to, just shove them into the road. Are you good now? Okay, good. We're good now. You're good. It's good. But it was the first time that an adult authority figure had ever made sure that I was mentally okay and not just physically okay. And that was huge. She ended up giving me her number that day, and like, so now we communicate regularly, and she's, oh, hey, how you doing? Like, oh, I'm doing good, and we're actually doing an independent study together next year so that I can be more prepared for college, and it was insane. That the Olentangy local school district is doing great if those are the kind of teachers it's producing.
When a young person recognizes their significance, they recognize the significance of every choice they make, and they realize why life matters and why others matter. And we have 7 young people on this stage that represent 19,000, is that what I heard? I can't remember, students that matter in a community that matters. So thank you all so much for sharing this message. And whether you're here by choice or by force, none of you are here by accident. And so my challenge to you is don't just go through the motions of the workshop experience that you're going to have. Be open to this opportunity and embrace this experience, and don't make this a one-night experience. If we just take in all this information and inspiration and do nothing with it tomorrow, this was all a waste of time. So my challenge to you is to make something happen from this moment on. Thank you, and thank you all.